All right, hello everybody. Today we want to talk about how an attack is planned. A lot of us have spent time detecting attacks that are already in progress and responding to them. But we believe that there could be a little more focus on the steps that are used to plan out an attack. So we want to go over those in a little more detail.
Hello everyone. My name is Kristina Krasnolobova. I've been enjoying my journey with Centera Healthcare for past 2 years, working as a data security analyst. In my spare time, I enjoy volunteer and collaborate. So if you have any opportunities for me, feel free to reach out.
And hi, I'm Robert George. I'm Principal Cybersecurity Architect at Centera. Worked in SOC, incident response, governance, risk, and compliance. Security's kind of become my life. Let's see. And so today we're going to go over an overview of the steps to an attack, how and why certain targets are selected, go over some of the tools that are used to collect data prior to an attack. We have a video that goes over an example of social engineering. We go into a little bit more depth with tools that you can use, and then have some recommendations going forward. So this is the MITRE attack framework. It's what we use to look at a lot of the attacks that we're investigating. The steps of the attack that we can see over on the left here, a lot of times there's a lot of work done in the recon stage to decide who the target's going to be, what people work at that company, what kind of technologies the company has, at which point an attack's actually launched, and then when the exploitation happens is around the time that blue team usually picks up on the exploits, and starts an incident response process. And so for today, we're going to go over the pre-attack stage, the planning that's done prior to the attack.
Hey, sorry to interrupt. Kristina, we might be getting a little feedback off of your mic. If you wouldn't mind muting when you're not talking. Thank you.
All right, sounds good. Okay. On this slide, we would like to demonstrate how social engineering could be leveraged in pre-attack phase. This particular attack ran for approximately 1 year. As reported by SecureWorks, the Mia Ash persona was developed. Then this persona searching a LinkedIn for any employees that was a job title that would indicate elevated access to corporate network. She then contacted employee and started conversation about photography. Me and employee would message each other about professions, their interests, photography. Then she asked target if he would be willing to add her as a Facebook friend. For about months, they established the trust and talk a lot. And after a month, the Mia asked target if he would be willing to take a photography survey. Target agrees. Mia sends Excel document to the target personal email account, yet encourages target to open a survey using corporate email. Well, this attachment survey contained the macros that unleashed puppy rat. Although the account was compromised, that only were a launchpad for breaching a target's organization.
Okay, we're gonna get into the meat and potatoes of a social engineering attack. The first stage is target selection. So there's lots of different motives as to why an attacker picks a specific target. Sometimes it's attacking a competitor to try to get business. Sometimes it to ruin their reputation. Sometimes it's to steal data to sell on a black market forum to make money. So regardless of the reason for the specific target, a lot of attacks are actually financially motivated. And so we're going to go over some of the things that people look for when they're selecting their target.
All right, before we proceed, we would like to make a small disclaimer. A lot of our examples use Zoom company. There's no specific reason why we picked this company, or we're not trying to target anyone. This was just simply chosen because it was a hot topic lately. Social media evolved over the last decade and it become an important part of our lives. Despite being tech savvy, a lot of us could overshare information on the internet that could be used and leveraged against us. Our social profiles alone can tell about our professional status, the companies that we work at, our skill levels, our age, where we live, what we like. And if that alone is not enough to target, use that information to target you, well, there's a Russian saying, tell me who's your friend and I'll tell you who you are. Social media can help build your social profile by looking at your friends and friends of your friends and see what kind of posts you like that your friends share, what you choose to reshare. Tools like Facebook Scraper make work of collecting all this information on you is very easy as 1, 2, 3. Twitter puts limits on amount of information you can post at one time. I think last time I checked it was 140 characters. It might seem like you're not sharing that much, yet cumulative information about you can reveal a lot more than you think. Follower.me analyzes your profile and provides analytics about your interests, profiles you interacted with, your popular hashtags, general attitude, and also analytics on what time of the day you're active or not active.
Okay, so we're going to do a quick video that goes over social engineering attack for a made-up company that we came up with called Candy Corn. Let's see.
Hey Robert, how do you like working from home?
One moment, I have to finish something up. I'll be right on.
Is your video working? I just see black screen.
Maybe I forgot to push the button to turn on the video. Is it working now?
Is that an anonymous mask that you wear?
What? Sorry, I'm having problems with my camera. I'll be right back.
That was very strange. Okay. I've been getting a lot of calls this morning regarding issue that we have with website. I'm going to share a screen with you so we can check it out.
Hey, I'm back. So what's going on?
Yeah, I've been getting a lot of calls. So I think we should check out the website because customers are reporting issues with it.
Yeah, well, so far it looks pretty normal. Hey, did you see that petition that the CEO put up the other day? Can you believe that Jelly Belly has stole our idea of popcorn flavored candy?
I know, this is our big competitor. Can't believe.
Yeah, well, maybe we should sign it too after we finish troubleshooting this website issue.
I know Cameron already signed it. We just can take a look at it later. We should concentrate on what issue that we have.
Okay.
Yeah, let's take a look at Cybersecurity Center. What's happening there? Whoa, that looks very strange. Look how many attacks we have. And the skull? I mean, I don't think that should be here unless someone in the office doing something. But everybody's working remote.
I think you're overreacting.
I think we should take a look at the cameras.
Okay.
You've been hacked? What is this?
Cisco. What a script kiddie.
Who are you talking about?
Oh, nothing. Go on.
Okay, let's take a look at the cameras. Everything looks fine so far. Somebody's in the CEO office. I don't think anyone should be there. Is that a Cameron? I knew we shouldn't hire him. That was very strange that competitors let him go right after we did the job posting.
Did I hear my name? Ha 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 ha.
I told you insider threat would be a problem. Hey Cameron, we have a job to finish. Let's blow this popsicle stand.
Okay. Got that there.
Hey, Robert.
Okay. So now let's dig into some of the technology aspects of preparing for a social engineering attack.
Showdown is the engine for internet-connected devices. You can use Showdown to discover which of the devices are connected, who is using them, discover location of those devices, and more nitty-gritty details about device. For example, on this slide, on our screenshots, we see information like IP addresses, services that are used, certificates information, and geolocation. Risk IQ, also known as Passive Total. This tool provides extensive information on individual DNS records that can reveal history of your domains and also show how IP addresses change over time. It provides plethora information. For example, you can see whose information, SSL certificates, associated subdomains, technologies that are used on the website, client-side tracking files associated with website. On this screen, you see example of the personal information that could be discovered looking at the records. For example, Zoom at some point was registered with personal Gmail account.
Okay, one of the other tools that provides a lot of information about a company that may help for planning out an attack is MXToolbox. Most of the social engineering attacks that are done through email. So MXToolbox provides a a way for you to look at the health and configuration of specific domains, email resources. One thing that I'd like to point out here is on the left-hand side, there's a screenshot with a list of servers that are authorized to send on behalf of this particular domain. The last entry is actually set up to be a soft fail. So if a server doesn't match this list, the email will still be allowed to go through. Makes it quite easy to spoof a domain and send an email looking like the CEO or some other important member of the company. Okay, and BuiltWith is another tool that provides information about the different technologies that are running on a company's website. The example that we have here, you can see that they're using WordPress, which it seems like at least every other day there's some sort of new major zero day for WordPress. They also have Java, that's another attack vector, and many other potential technologies that could be leveraged to attack that company. BuiltWith also provides a list of contacts for a specific company, so it may give a good starting list of people to target. Okay, so how do we find the people part?
Hunter is the tool that lets you find email addresses and connect with people. Despite the fact that this tool was created with the thought in mind to allow professionals to connect and find each other, like any other tool that carries any personal information, it could be leveraged to gather information for potential attack. One aspect about this tool that attacker might find especially interesting, this tool allows to see and uncover patterns and show format of organizations' email addresses. So you can identify format and then change the part of it and go through several email addresses and see which one would hit. According to Retraster, phishing accounts for about 90% of the data breaches.
Okay, another cool tool is called Yaze. It's a search engine, but it looks for data across the internet specific to a person. So it'll show you like social networking profiles that the person has, any news posts if they're in the news, if they're part of any forums, and it picks up their name in those. Schools that they went to. We've even found at times like research papers that people did in school that just happen to be posted for sale online. So all this information helps you to understand the target that you're going after. Another free service that helps with looking for like contact information is Fast People Search. So there are some paid services that provide a similar functionality, like Been Verified or Spokio. But today we want to focus on free resources. So this is one that will allow you to look up a person's name. Then you can zoom down to state level and see their name, physical addresses, email addresses, phone numbers, associates linked back to them. And so this provides a lot of like contact information for a person.
Yandex People Search allows you to search for social accounts on the various Russian social media, and also platforms like Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Google+, LinkedIn, LiveJournal, and a lot more. What really separates this tool from Google, for example, if you're not trying to go through all the data that could be pulled on one person and just want to look at the profiles of find possible profiles for a person, this is a great tool.
Okay, so we just showed you a bunch of tools, but it takes a long time to go to each of these sites and try to piece together all the parts to plan out an attack. So we have a few tools that are available that will help automate that data collection process.
If you're not familiar with Multigo, Multigo focuses on analyzing real-world relationship between information that is publicly accessible on the internet. This includes footprinting internet infrastructure, as well as gathering information about people and companies who own it, connections between the pieces of information that are found using open source threat intelligence technologies by querying sources such as DNS records, whose records, search engines, social networks, and other various online APIs, and extracting metadata. Results provided in a, as you can see on the slide, on a graph. So that graph helps you uncover the hidden connections that you might not see it right off the bat if you're just browsing one resource at a time. And in the corner of the slide, you can see, this is on the big slide, you can just see part of the diagram, but actual diagram is a lot bigger.
Okay, and another tool that we use, it's very similar to Multigo. It's web-based and easy to spin up as like a container for deployment. It's called Spiderfoot. This tool has over 100 different API integrations and can pull information for a domain, IP range. And as you can see here, we put a domain in, and we got many thousands of hits back, providing usernames, GitHub repositories, social media accounts linked to corporate email addresses. So lots of good information, and that's provided to you in a more automated fashion. So all the tools that we went over can be used to collect the data that we're showing on the screen and more. You know, a lot of companies out there are dealing with malware attacks and phishing and other types of attacks, but really all this data that's available on the internet makes it easy for these attacks to get planned out. There's just so much information about companies' technology, information about the people that work at the company that could be used to develop and execute a social engineering attack. Okay, so we want to share a few tips that we try to use to protect our employees. So the first thing, employees should use personal email accounts when they register for non-work related online resources. You know, many times companies or websites that get breached will show the breach data will show up online, and the email addresses and usernames that show up in this breach data correspond to the same username and email address and password for the person's corporate account. And it makes it really easy to then break into that person's corporate account. It's good to limit the sharing of contact information on social media. For one reason, you'll get a lot of unsolicited messages, but also that contact information could be used to plan out a social engineering attack. And when somebody sends a connection request through social media, make sure that you know who that person is, that they're a trusted and vetted resource. As Kristina showed earlier in the slide, it's really easy to connect to someone through social engineering and use that connection to gain trust and be able to successfully hack that person or that company.
Be mindful of images that you share publicly. We all seen the images that have the background, the funny background, and then like, oops, a moment. But on a serious note, be mindful when you take pictures, especially in a corporate environment. There could be piece of the screen that have a private information, or you could take a picture and not realizing that your badge displays all the information. Just be mindful that image carry a lot of information that you might not realize at the first glance. Review your social account security and privacy setting. Don't just simply agree with default settings. Make sure you go into the settings, understand what they mean, and customize them to fit your personal comfort level. And last but not least, we showed you a lot of tools here. They're all free and available for you to use. Research your own data. Make sure you know what's information out there before hackers. We hope you learned something new today, and if not, I hope Robert and I hope you got reminded of good old tools that are out there for you. And thank you so much. And I think we're open for questions.
So there are a few questions. The first one was if you could relay a list of all the tools in the talk to me, or just post them directly into the Discord. So that's where I'm going to send them. That would be phenomenal. Another question we had is there a specific database or search engine to search for cell phone numbers registered with social media accounts?
There may be a little bit of work to connect the accounts, but from a free standpoint, the Fast People Search, also Spokio and Been Verified are really good with connecting phone numbers, addresses, email addresses, social media accounts.
Awesome. Okay. And then lastly, how useful would you say disposable email addresses are?
Extremely useful. Yeah. So on one hand, you're reducing the amount of unsolicited messages you're going to get on your actual email account. Also, if you're signed up for a service and you don't really need to receive email from that service, it's good to set up a disposable email account for that use.
Okay, we actually also had one more question come in. Do you guys recommend the paid for version of Multigo?
So I would say from a licensing standpoint, I'm going to have to say yes. We, if it's used for corporate reasons, you want to have a paid account for it. The free account does allow you to run many of the same searches. There's just a limitation to how much data you could pull back at one time. I think it's 12 records for each API call.